Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Questioning a better way, one gracefully disruptive conversation at a time.
Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila. I'm so excited to be with you today. We are here in Denver in Big Up Studios, and we have a Colorado company in the house, majority female owned. Ashley Blankenship, welcome to Turmeric and Tequila.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to unpack your journey and how you kind of said yes to opportunity kind of throughout your life. But we're going to unpack Red Rocks Vodka, which is a locally owned, majority woman-owned vodka company here in Colorado. And before we jump in, I want to read, I love the personality they have on their website and all the social media, but how much I feel like you put yourself into the brand and the branding. I think this is a really special message.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Yeah,
because we try hard to do that. Because it's literally just my husband and I right now. So we are growing this baby and, trying to put ourselves completely into it. So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. You can really see it through when I was digging through the social media. I'm like, these guys really put their personality into what it is. So I just want to read this little message just so you have a flavor of what we're talking about. They say, what we believe, Colorado is special. Cocktails should be simple. Friends and family come first. We're proud to say we're minority woman owned. We love to have a good time and want to share the joy of responsibly imbibing a deliciously crafted cocktail with friends, both old and new. Please always drink responsibly. So I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's like your core values put on display?
Yep.
I think
100%.
so too. Yes. And if you listen to Turmeric and Tequila, we always have our mission-driven, successful business humans on the mic, but we unpack the human behind the business before we even get to the business. So, Ashley, you have a really eclectic background from doula, recording artist, stay-at-home mom, now business owner.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a little bit of flavor of like young Ashley, what you had going on growing up?
Well, I grew up... my childhood was pretty normal, just had like a middle-class upbringing. And then the only difference was I knew how to sing really well. So I started singing professionally when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I grew up being a performer. And when I was around 12, I was signed to Atlantic Records.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, were you born and raised in Colorado?
In California.
Oh, well, that's a nice spot to be if you're musically inclined.
It worked out well. And right around that time, my mom actually, unfortunately, became addicted to meth.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I was going through, the recording industry and right at a time where you're transitioning into adulthood and, trying to figure out who you are. And at the same time, having people come at you with all these different expectations and judgments. So it was really tough. And so I stayed in the music industry until I was probably around 18 or 19 professionally.
Okay.
And then I thought, you know what? I'm really unhappy. I don't want to do this anymore, and this hurts. And so I got married. My husband, we're still together today. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And he has allowed me to kind of try to find myself because honestly, it's taken me a while.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like a straightforward answer. I think because when I was going through those formative years, I was really told what I was supposed to be a lot. And so it's been a struggle to find out who I really am. And so I became like a realtor for a while. And then I ended up getting pregnant. And my daughter was born at 26 weeks.
Oh,
so
wow.
she was a super preemie. And after that, I was like, I don't want to ever leave her again. Like, I want to stay with her. And so I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. And so I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. We have 3 beautiful children. And then they started going to school, and I was like, they're at school a lot. I have a lot of downtime right now. I don't want to just sit here and clean my house all the time. It's clean enough. Like, I'm over it. And so I decided to be a doula because I was always fascinated. I had really terrible births. And so I was really fascinated with creating an environment that felt safe for other women and that felt comfortable. And so they could have a beautiful experience like I didn't get to have. And so I became a doula, a childbirth educator, and a breastfeeding counselor. And I was doing that for a while. And in the meantime, behind the scenes, my husband was facing a lot of mental health issues. And he's comfortable with me sharing that, so I can talk openly about it. But so with his job, he was an air traffic controller. With his job, he you can't take antidepressants and be an air traffic controller. They don't allow it. So he was medically disqualified. And if you don't get off your antidepressants and go through all these like loopholes and jump through all these hoops and stuff like that, then you can't work. And so he was facing a medical retirement.
Wow.
And being a doula was so rewarding. I loved it. It was a really big passion. It still is. But it didn't bring in a lot of money. And
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was.
okay.
And, that could be because I am really good at the behind the scenes stuff. I'm really good at, doing the work, the paperwork, learning, researching, and doing all of that, comforting people. I'm really good at that kind of stuff. But as far as like sales and like going out and like finding people, I'm not the best at that, honestly. My husband is. That's why when we partnered up with Red Rocks Spirits, it was a really, really good match for us. And we've been able to grow really, really quickly. And we're excited about where we're headed. But so yeah, there wasn't a lot of money in being a doula, and the hours it takes, it's like it equals to, not much, maybe minimum wage, because, births are long and you're there the whole time. So, but it was wonderful. But I was like, well, what are we going to do now? Because he was our main breadwinner. So he happened to find this spirits company for sale. It was Red Rocks Vodka, and they didn't really have a lot of sales. It was, really, really new. It needed a completely new bottle and everything like that. And we were like, let's do it. Like, why not?
Where do you find a business like that for sale? Like, is it on Craigslist or like?
No,
where?
It's like some a website where they sell businesses. Like people are selling businesses. Yeah, it's like a thing.
I should probably know about this.
I didn't know about it. And he was like, hey, this would be really cool. And I was like, I don't know. But you know what? It was just like, I said yes. And to this day, I can't say why I said yes, because it was so far out of my comfort zone. Yeah. I don't know a lot about the business. There's so many rules and laws and regulations when you're selling alcohol. Like, it was a big undertaking, and it was, a big risk that we took, but we jumped in, and here we are. So
that's crazy. Well, so I went back. It's so funny because I
just like rattled off my whole life
that was relatively concise for like, you just packed in all the decades right there in like 5 minutes. But the running theme is really resilience, and even as a young person, it's funny. Like I always ask about the human behind the business, because there's always patterns of behavior early on that end up being like your purpose or your path later on. We just the middle age or like high school, middle school, college, whatever. Like we kind of lose who we are because it takes us all I'm still figuring it out. Like we're still finding out what the path is. Yeah. Because there's no end game. But, early on, being in that environment in California, and this is, was that like early 90s?
It was like late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is before Me Too. This is before some of these industries have been disrupted.
Yes. It was definitely before all of that.
So you are a young human in these really like tough environments. And then I've had addiction in my family. Okay. Dealing with that is, you have no skill set to know how to help someone that can't be helped, essentially.
Yeah, you're completely helpless.
Yeah. So I think early on you had a lot of deep adverse challenges, but it sounded like, if you're taking on a business, well, okay, like how hard can it be? Seriously, like for all the things you did.
That's actually a good way to think about it.
Yeah, because you had to overcome this stuff as a young human. And again, that time frame, like we forget, it's thankfully I always had sports. I think a piece of me always wanted to be in like music or TV or something, but I wasn't a singer. I wasn't an actress. So here we are on podcasting. But I think I was kind of protected from that because I don't know that I could have handled that back then in some way or form, where I think you could, and you did.
I don't know if I handled it well, but, you are just, people are really resilient. And we don't know how resilient we are until we're put into something difficult and see how we can get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, yes, you got to kind of just go through the storm to figure it out. Do you feel like some of those life skills early on helped you be like a better mom, a better partner?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, you go through times and phases of your life where you're angry that things happened to you or that you had to go through certain things. But the more I live, the more I realize that all of those experiences have really prepared me for what was to come. Mm-hmm. And I feel like so much more prepared than even some other people who didn't experience those tough things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, when did you guys find yourself in Colorado?
We have been here for about 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are part of the California crew that came out here and just started to take over?
Yeah, but I want to say like we were maybe like earlier, like we were like the pioneers. We didn't know anybody moving out here except my sister did move here, and she was like, "It's awesome! Like you're gonna love it. You have to move here." And I was like, "I don't know. Like we're kind of comfortable where we are." And I came to visit, and I was like, "Okay,
yeah,
I got to get out here somehow." So
Colorado's,
we made the move.
It's hard to beat.
It's amazing.
It's
wonderful.
My dad's family is California.
Okay.
So we spent a good amount of time out there, and I'm a city kid at heart, like born and raised Colorado, but went to school right outside of DC at George Mason University. Shout out to play lacrosse because there was nothing competitive back in the day.
That's awesome.
It was. And I love the city, the vibe, the culture, the food, the diverse, like all of that buzz was good. But when I came back, I'm like, damn, our weather's really a lot better.
It's perfect. It's so good.
And we have, amphitheaters and Red Rocks, and we're starting to get, more culture and different foods and stuff.
There's everything here. I love it.
Well, I mean, so establishing a business and a brand, I can't even understand all the rules and logistics that go with distribution and the laws and like things you can and can't do within the industry. And you're newer to the area. What was like your step one once you guys had the business? And this is great for anyone thinking about making a move, whether you're young or you're older or later in your career and you're thinking about taking on something you've never done before. What was your step one into like, okay, we've made this decision. What is the first thing we're going to do to kick this brand off?
The first thing I did was learn.
Yeah.
Because I had to know legally what I was allowed to do and not allowed to do. I had to learn how to get into the stores, get into the restaurants, get into the bars. And I just ate up education. Like that's all I did day and night. I would research, read, listen to podcasts, like watch videos on YouTube, like just whatever information I could get, I would just eat it up.
Yeah.
And I think, my role as a doula helped me with that because that's a ton of research. You're looking at, studies and all this kind of stuff to make sure you're doing the right thing for your clients. And so it kind of just felt natural to research that way. And I think that helped out a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think listening is always like the first thing you can do when you're getting into stuff. And then the flip side is relationships. Like being newer to the area, like 4 years isn't that long. You got to know like bars and industry people. How did you navigate making some of these key relationships right away?
Well, I said my husband is a great salesman. He's really the one that's been driving the force there because I'm pretty introverted. Like I like talking one-on-one to people and I like building relationships and getting to know people. But walking into a space where you're trying to sell yourself and show everyone what you got, like I just don't like doing that. That's probably why I didn't continue on in the music industry because like that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
And so he's awesome at it. He just can just be friends with anybody immediately, and he's just one of those kind of people, and it's been going really well so far.
I love it. Well, so I crossed paths with him at an event here in Colorado, and this summer I was training last summer. So this summer I'm like I'm hitting all the fests and the things because like I've been out of it, and I like people and energy.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side, like the turmeric and tequila, like I love social, and then I'm like, we need a few days to like hibernate. But when I was talking to your husband Willis, I'm like, wait, Red Rocks Vodka, this is the thing. He's like, oh yeah, have a sip. This is this, and I'm like, okay, like just such good energy, good vibe, and you can again feel the personality within what you guys do, like intentional, serious, but also very personalized to where it comes from.
Thank you so much.
And I was at least 3 or 4 drinks deep at this point. So if I could read it in, yeah. But I was like, all right, give me your card. I'm going to follow up. Do you have people like that come to you guys a lot being like, I have a podcast or this and this? Like, do people say stuff like that a lot? Or am I the only random out there?
We get it sometimes, but I think most of the time it's like, oh, I know somebody who owns a restaurant or I know somebody who owns a bar. So it's been cool to have people come up to us and kind of want to help us out in our journey and join us in our adventure of creating this thing. And it's been really, really cool.
I think everything is energy. So like I'm always long-time entrepreneur. I'm big on like, all right, what's the plan? What are the goals? Display your core values. And like just having good vibes because like there's so much you can't plan and control. Like you've got to just hope and like energetically believe that the right things are going to come in at the right time.
I totally 100% agree with you on that.
Are you big on like faith or energy or anything like that? Both?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you grow up a specific faith?
Not really. I became Christian as I got older, but we didn't really practice anything growing up.
Yeah, just singing.
Just singing.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, get to work.
Yeah,
that was
seriously.
my religion. Yeah.
That's how sports was for us. Like, what'd you
Okay.
do on Sundays? I'm like, go to football games,
Yeah.
or I had a game, or like, that's what we religiously did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So wait, when did like energy and like more conscious living and mindset kind of take a play into your life?
I always had, even as a kid, like I remember like feeling things that make me sound crazy, but like
No, we're here for the intuitive energy. We're here for all the things
Okay,
like
cool.
Turmeric and Tequila. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I always felt something, and I couldn't really explain it to everybody. And when I would say it, people would look at me like, what are you talking about? But I always just like felt different things. And like I had kind of this like intuition of what was going to happen. Like I could kind of, I don't want to say predict the future, but like I had feelings that led me to do certain things that ended up working out.
Oh, 100. Yeah, that's
So-
amazing. Do you have any of that like in your family? Have you ever talked to like grandmothers?
Yeah,
or grandpa?
yeah.
Okay.
I think I have like a couple aunts who kind of have that same thing, or they'll have like dreams, and then the
Yeah.
dreams will come true, and they can like interpret stuff, like things like that.
Oh, do you get like your cards read or anything?
I don't know.
Okay, I love all those things.
Okay.
And Tibetan Import, shout out to them. Off 6, they do like your birth sign, your birth chart.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's like the day you're born, the time and the place.
Okay.
And I go like every few years, and it's funny. You record it, and I listen to it like a year later, and I'm like, oh my god, like this was like
true.
kind of right on time with exactly what
Wow.
they said. Yeah. So I mean, my thing
Cool.
is like whether you believe it or not, I kind of think traditional faith, universe, energy, like it's all however you label it, it's all
Yeah.
kind of the same. You're just listening to something that's pulling you in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think the older we get, you're like, well, it worked out last time, so I'm gonna lean in.
Right. Yeah. I was like, okay, that worked out. Let's do that.
Did you have like dreams of vodka bottles? Like,
No, but my husband did.
seriously?
Yeah, he had one day we were sitting at the table because we are like, it's just us, like I said, and we work. We do all of it. We label the bottles ourselves. So we're sitting at the dining room table, and he's sitting there labeling bottles, and he stops and he looks up and he's like, I had a dream about this
Oh my god.
years ago.
Like a deja vu?
Yeah. And he
Yes.
gets those all the time, and he's like,
Oh.
I had a dream that we were like labeling vodka bottles, and at the time I was like, what the heck? Why am I labeling vodka bottles? So he has things like that all the time too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So do you guys think you're kind of like energetically aligned as well?
Sometimes we're energetically not aligned.
Said
but-
every married couple. Yeah. Yeah. Well, for the most part, you guys
For
sound
the most part, we get along really well.
You sound like a good like turmeric and tequila of like
Yeah.
extrovert,
we do
the
balance
thing,
each other out really well.
introvert, yeah,
Yeah.
and then meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Who are the kids like?
I have 3 kids, and my daughter is the oldest, and she's a lot like me.
Okay.
She's very responsible, very kind of quiet, but, likes to interact with people. And then my middle son, he is a lot like a mix between my husband and I.
Okay.
And my youngest is out of control and super smart, super cute, super funny, and just super bad. And I just
Is it a boy or girl?
It's a boy.
Okay.
And he's a lot like probably my husband.
Okay. At least you guys. That's funny. You guys each got 1 and then a half of the middle.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I'm the oldest. So the oldest is
Okay.
always like the kid that has to have it together.
Yeah.
Like it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Middle's like floundering, and then baby is just out here wilding all
Yeah.
the time. That's
Just wilding out all
yeah,
the time.
yeah. Dude, he'll probably be your number 1 consumer once he's 21.
Uh-oh. Probably.
Responsibly, though.
I do worry about that. It's like, okay, they're coming up to teenage years, and we got a lot of vodka lying around.
Yeah. Well, this is actually a perfect segue because as entrepreneurs, you were talking about this before we got on the mic. We're doing everything. Like I'm almost over 20 years as an entrepreneur, and I think 8 years for KO Alliance, my consulting company.
That's
and it's
awesome.
Thank you. It is. And you're never off. Like people
Never.
think entrepreneurship is like, oh, you make your own hours, you can go on vacation, whatever.
Dude,
It's like
I hear
no.
like these people on Instagram and stuff like, I only work 3 hours a week, and I'm like, how? Because I'm working 500. Like
Yeah.
I can't stop working. Like it'll be 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'm still working because I have to get this something done before something else. Like there's always something to do.
Yeah. Well, casual PSA, if you're on Instagram and you're scrolling and someone's selling $1,000 course saying they only work 4 hours a day, don't buy it.
Slice.
Because they're only working 4 hours a day because we're out there buying these courses and then only to find out it's not true.
Right.
But so the social media, this is my long-winded segue, is a big piece of the game. And we're talking like we're on it, all the time. And it's so important. On one side, it's very positive because it allows startups, entrepreneurs, access to spaces we didn't have, 20 years ago.
Right.
I'm sure even in your music career, that would have made a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have any of that.
The exposure, A&R, I actually wanted to get into the music industry, like on the business side.
Okay.
And it was funny how much it changed. But we didn't have social media, so it's great. And then on the flip side, the reason I started the cast is it's so much exposure for our young people, and there's so many smoke and mirrors. How do you kind of plan to handle that with your young humans, with social media, phones?
Yeah, it's hard because everybody's doing it, and I don't want them to be the outcast that doesn't know what's going on, with their peers. So we just have an open conversation. I believe in, just talking to them about everything. There's nothing off the table at our house. And so we just talk about it. And if I see them watching something or hear them talking about something, I'm like, well, let's talk about that. Like, do you think that that's true? Or how would that be possible? Or, trying to teach them to have a bit of discrimination between what is actually possible and what is not, when it comes to that kind of stuff. And my daughter is actually, I'm really proud of her because she was on TikTok after a while of her being like, can I please, like all my friends, please, please, because I was really resistant because you hear all the statistics and all the, it's scary. And so she was on it for a while, and, we were talking about it one night, and I was like, hey, yeah, are you still on TikTok or whatever? And she's like, you know what, Mom, I really didn't feel good about myself when I was watching these TikToks, and so I decided to delete it. And I was like,
yes, yeah,
my baby. No.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, we just talk about it, and I explain the real world to them as much as I can.
I think the community, I don't have kids, I have dogs, but I think I coached a high school varsity team for 10 years, and 15 years before that. So I saw how much, my kiddos are sitting at their phone and they believe it. And I'm no, I'm in marketing branding. I promise you. There's really good smoke and mirrors and filters. And,
oh man, the filters? Forget about it.
You look like a different human.
Oh my gosh.
But it's literally fake. I think it's almost good for them to see how you can, like the TikToks, there's before and afters, or like you see the countdown and then they change and you're like, it literally looks like a different human.
It's a different person.
So, yeah, that it's not real. But I think the communication and the transparency is so critical in letting them figure it out. Again, not a parent. I don't like to advise or coach when you don't have those authentic ethos. But from the coaching perspective, I think there's nothing you can hide from them. Like they have access.
Figure it out.
For either through them or their friends, or
for sure.
They're at parties, and it's gonna happen. I think the conversation is the same thing with drinking or drugs or dating or it's all out there.
Yeah, we talk about all that stuff: sex, drugs, drinking. When you're at a party, what are you gonna do if this happens? Like we go through scenarios and and try to we make it a game kind of. Okay, like what happens if such and such, and then they'll be like, what if we did this? And I'm like, good idea. So we kind of make it fun. Like it's not always like a lecture, but it's a scary world for kids out there.
Yeah. Well, and all things like coexist. And Turmeric and Tequila people are just like, what is it about? I'm like, it's work hard, play hard, balance. You can be all things. You wear all the hats. But really, bottom line, it's about mental health and understanding who you are, and that all these juxtapositions in your life can exist. I'm an athlete. I like to have fun. I'm a business social person, but also I like to be alone and just be with my dogs. Like all these things, so you can accept who you are and then find your alignment.
I love
in this
that
world.
So much.
Well, we're 42. We're figuring it out.
Still getting there.
We're still getting there. But I want our young people to live in this transparent space so they have this awareness themselves to be like, oh, I'm this and this, and I can do this, and nothing fits. I can be, a local liquor brand and be a really intentional parent. Like these things coexist, and our world is so like, no, you have to be this.
You know what's interesting about that? I feel like my whole life, people have been really confused about who I am, because I am both things so many times, and I kind of contradict what people expect me to be. And so it is cool to be like, at my age, I don't really care anymore. I want to be liked, of course, and I want, people to think I'm cool or whatever, but like it's not my whole purpose in life anymore. And so it's nice to be able to feel comfortable in doing different things that I was like, you know what, that seems cool to me and I want to do that.
Amen. Isn't that crazy though, where we think we have to fit into these boxes? Even if we're like conscious, intuitive humans, there's still some unconsciousness that's like, wow, what is this? Like to this day, I feel like I'm explaining what I do, who I am, why I am the way I am all the time. Yeah. And I get it, because as humans, we want to understand, where it's like, if you see a good looking guy and they're still single, you're like, oh man, something must be wrong. Something's going on there. And it's like, oh no, don't do that. Like, that's what I get. Like, but we just are so conditioned to do that. So we're stopping that right now. We're here, like, no more. Try and constantly not do that.
Love it.
But I want to unpack that a little more, because I feel like we definitely cross paths for a reason.
Yeah.
How would you define yourself? Like, what are your major pillars of defining your own world?
That's quite a question. Like I said, I'm still trying to find myself after all these years. But I really care about people, I've come to find out. And, you know, it's like my worst nightmare to offend someone, which obviously happens because I'm a human. But I really care about people, and I want to do the best for others. And I also like to have a good time. And I also want to not care sometimes. Yeah. You know, I want to have a break from caring so much. Sure. Because it's tiring sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I answered that question properly, but it's complicated, because every day I feel like a different person. Like, some days I want to put on a bunch of makeup and look fancy and, you know, get dressed up. And other days I want to be in sweats, and I want that to be okay.
And it is okay.
Yeah. Like, I just want to feel like, this is me today. And I can come as a different person every single day if I feel like it. And, you know, my heart is always in the right place, and I'm always trying to do the best for others. But I also need to take care of myself sometimes. And I have to try to remind myself that a lot, because I'm the type that will just give. And I need to, like, okay, you need to stop and, like, take care of yourself today. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's perfect. I think it 100% answers the question, because it wasn't an intentional trick question, but, like, there are
like, wait a minute,
that's a trick. Like, shit, what's the answer? No, there's no real answer, and sometimes there's no real pillar. Like, I'm this and this, and that's literally what this is all about. Is that everyone, like, just do what you want to do, because every person out there listening, every human being, we're all different people on different days. We're all, like, multiple personalities in some capacity, because you're tired or you're stressed and life is really hard and there's a lot coming at us, especially our young people. So you have to, like, suit up and be in armor some days, and other days you've got to just rejuvenate. But I'm blessed to have all the people that come on Turmeric Tequila that really care about people, and they really care about,
that's awesome.
Yeah, well, making this world a better place, whether it's through, you know, social stuff and libations, or, you know, being a doula and helping, like, this birth experience. I mean, it's always mission-driven humans that want to just leave a positive impact. Yeah. And I think it's ironic that you started out as a young human using your voice, but even now, like, some of these wise words are going to go through. I have a feeling you're going to continue to use your voice, just in probably a different way that you thought.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes me kind of want to cry a little bit. That hit me right now. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Would you ever do, like, podcasting or anything like that?
I did have a podcast for birth education for a little bit.
Okay.
But then once we started the vodka company, I was like, I just can't, because, like, you know, it's a lot of work to do a podcast. And so that kind of fell off to the wayside. And, but yeah, I mean, I just want to help people.
Okay, I love it.
That's what I like doing the most.
Maybe even just through the brand. I'm giving you this. This is, like, off topic and unsolicited, like,
I'll
consultation.
Take any business advice.
Well, no, not business advice, but I think the more because you are a minority woman-owned brand, I think the more you're sharing your experience. I always advise my clients, like, humanize the brand, the experience. Like, I come from the world of, like, the Reeboks and the majors, where everything is, like, dialed in and studied and manufactured. This day and age, our young humans are conscious consumers, and people our age are conscious consumers. I'll buy a brand because it's woman-owned, or I'll buy a brand because it's local, or whatever. Even more than, like, if I like the taste of it, or I like, you know, it's cheaper, the calories are better, whatever. I'll intentionally purchase, and our young people are even better about that. So I don't know. I could just see, like, you talking more about your experience, even though it's your human experience, but it's through the brand. As much as it seems like it doesn't fit, that's where our world is.
Yeah, because I feel like, what am I doing? You know, like, some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't know, vodka company? Like, what is happening? So, yeah.
Yeah. But you're the person behind it. Just like, attitude reflects leadership because I'm a longtime athlete. So, your coach, if the coach is like high energy and really strict, that's like the values of the team. And like, that's how the team shows up to compete. If you're open book and you talk about your experience and and it's like, this is my brand. This is what I believe. It doesn't matter if it's a sports team, a vodka, a podcast. I mean, it's an extension of you.
That makes sense.
So,
what I love most about owning Red Rocks Vodka is the type of people that we get to meet are so diverse.
Yeah.
And the people who have like an affinity for Red Rocks, or they've been to Red Rocks, or they, like visiting, hiking, going to shows, whatever they like to do at Red Rocks, just the diversity of that is so cool to see. And I love the ability of this vodka to bring so many different people together. I love it.
Yeah. Well, community sounds like a running theme through
it's really important
messaging.
to us. Yeah.
Do you guys do anything right now with your followers, your fans, or anything like that?
Not yet.
Okay.
We just started in February, so we're really new.
Okay.
Right now we're just trying to like get up and running and get into locations. That's our main focus right now, and get the word out. But we do a lot of like charity functions and things like that. And we help out in any way we can. We don't have like a lot of money to give people, but we have a lot of vodka to give people.
There you go.
So we've been trying to be generous with that and help out any way we can.
Well, I love, culturally, like internationally, food and drink is such like a traditionally known situation where you come together and you celebrate. And it's about good drinks. And it's not just like 50 drinks at, downtown Denver.
Right.
It's like really enjoy it, but like bringing people together. And that's like a common denominator that almost every single culture across the world has.
Yeah.
Where you unite over food and drink. So it's an extraordinary opportunity to bring people together for a good excuse.
Yeah.
And it tastes good.
And it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's good.
Yeah. Don't sleep on the fun out there. Everybody gets so wrapped up in the business. You got to put on the sweats and take it low key.
You got to still have fun. Yeah.
Well, so tell us, accessibility is a big thing for, in life, but also for getting a brand out there. Tell me, like, where are you guys right now in Denver? Tell us about big partnerships. Where can we get Red Rocks Vodka?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, redrockspirits.com, you can click Get Some, and we have our locations there. Right now we're in 111 locations in like the Denver metro area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're running. And so we're really excited about our growth. It's been a lot of work, but it's also been really rewarding just to see the reaction that we're getting from people. So that's been really fun to see. And we're growing every day. So check back. We have a newsletter you can join to get more information on new locations we're being added to. But we're at, a few big ones. We are at Argonaut. We're at, a lot of big ones around town. But
okay. Big bars and restaurants?
We're at not as many bars and restaurants. They've been harder to get into. So if you go to a bar and restaurant, if you ask for Red Rocks Vodka, that will really, really help us out, because a lot of them say we won't order it until somebody asks for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you go ask for it, that would really, really help us. But we're at like Tap 14. We just picked up Tap and Burger. We just picked up the Pig and the Sprout. So we're at some pretty cool places in Denver, and hoping to grow that aspect really, really soon.
That's amazing. And are you guys at Red Rocks, the amphitheater?
I wish.
Come on, I know we got to put pressure.
We got to get
there. Red Rocks. Yeah. If somebody knows someone that knows someone, I'm dead serious. Hit them up and lean in.
Yeah.
They'll send you some samples. I'm telling you, it's already good. And I'm an aficionado. Not just tequila, all the things. We're very good at the workout, but we're excellent at the fun.
Awesome.
Tell everybody a little bit about, because people don't understand how hard it is to get into these places. You've got distributors, you've got laws. Like, tell everyone like the 10,000 foot view of like how you even establish relationships or get product into bars, restaurants, liquor stores. I know it's complicated, but just like the 10,000 foot view, just because I want people to understand some of the process.
Okay. Hang on. Let me resituate in my seat. So there are, we have a 3-tier system. And so there's like a manufacturer, a distributor, and then the retailer. So right now we are self-distributing. We are looking for distribution at the moment because, it's us driving to every place to give them what they order. And that takes a lot of our time. So in order, like I cannot go to the store or go like to anywhere and like sell you vodka. I have to go through the retailer in order to get the vodka to you. it's against the law for me to just sell it. So we need the stores, we need the restaurants, we need the bars in order to get it to the people. And there's lots of different laws of how we can and cannot do that. That's probably a really boring podcast.
No, well, actually,
the laws.
Because I think people, it's just, so we used to do parties in Denver, and we could literally like partner with Sky Vodka, and like when the fruit labels or flavors came out, this was like 15 years ago. I feel like so old. Anyways, we would literally just get a case from somebody we knew out here, and we'd bring it into the bar, and it was like we'd do drink sales, not a big deal. And it wasn't that long ago. Now, no way is that happening.
So strict.
And it was probably illegal back then too, but like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, we're noticing that there are, like, I love following the rules. I'm like a goody in that respect, but like we're noticing like, okay, well, there's a lot of leniency here, or people are not exactly following the rules here, so there's still some of that. But but if you get caught, then you're in big trouble.
Yeah, well, if you're small, you can't. You don't. The law. Let's not play with that. But how hard is it to get a distributor? Because this is kind of the chicken, the egg. It takes all your time to do this, but then you have to sell, I'm guessing, a certain amount to be part of a distributor.
I literally just said that yesterday. I was like, man, this whole business is like chicken and the egg. Yeah. Like, it's just like, you got to have people asking for you, but in order to get people to ask you, you have to do, like, it's just always something else, like on the, the next thing that you have to do. But so to get a distributor, you have to have a decent following. You have to have a decent amount of sales and enough to make them want to sell you. And then you have to be big enough for them to push you to the store. Like, it is like a whole thing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of, I mean, like anything in life, if you walk in with deep pockets, even if the product's not that good and you have the right relationships, you're going to take to the next level.
For sure.
Just like marketing branding. You might not be the most quality human in the world, but you're naked on Instagram. You've got 1 million followers and you monetize it at a certain angle. You're going to get attention and sponsors, and there's a whole podcast there that doesn't last because people on Instagram watching naked people aren't going to buy your $7 smoothie. Like, it's just not going to happen. The basement creeper's not going to spend, but they'll sit there and lurk all day. So it kind of factors out, but it's really hard in this day and age. So I preach to anyone listening, if you've got brands or influencers or people or content creators you like, go out of the way, buy their stuff. Just give them likes, give them views, because it's such a game we've got to run from authentic space.
And honestly, like, we're up against all of the other huge brands that have millions of dollars to spend on branding and marketing. And we're just like, me and my husband are like, hey guys, like, you want some vodka? So it's really hard. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really hard.
Well, and it's constant. But you guys have made some extraordinary traction.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I appreciate that.
So given a limited time, energy, resource, and just brain power, what were your marketing choices? Like, what did you lean into that you thought would be the best spaces for you guys to tackle?
Well, we leaned into social media. We're working on that. Most of our sales happen in person. So we do a lot of tastings. We try to get to any event we can get into. Just having people talk to us, getting to taste it, getting to try it. Just really focusing on that. We're going to start doing radio ads. So that's really big down the pipeline for us. Like, that was a huge leap for us to do that. So yeah, we're just, honestly, I want to be everywhere. We do a lot of window perfs on like liquor stores and stuff. So the big stickers that you see outside the liquor stores, we have about 30 of those around town. So yeah, I just want to be everywhere.
I love it. I love it so much. Again, using the voice just in a totally different way than you planned. It's so funny.
I love that. Thank you.
Tell us now about the product. Gluten-free, non-GMO. Like, brag about how awesome this situation is.
So yeah, we are gluten-free. I'm actually celiac, so that's really important to me. I don't have gluten in any part of my life, so I need to be able to drink what I'm creating. We're made from corn, non-GMO. We are 6 times distilled, carbon filtered, so we're really clean. We have a really neutral flavor with a hint of sweetness, which I really like. Because I'm not really a cocktail person, and if I am going to make a cocktail, it's got to be really simple. Like, I don't want to be making foams and syrups and stuff like that. Like, I want to be like, okay, put this in there, put that in there, and then I'm going to drink it. But actually, like, drinking spirits on the rocks is my favorite way to drink them. So they got to taste good for me to want to drink it. And I think ours is really good.
It is. So I tasted it at the festival, and so it's like warm and in a plastic cup, like whatever. And I'm not an aficionado in liquor in general, probably not even tequila, because some people are deep in it, but I know what I like and what I don't. And it was warm, like I said, plastic cup, and it was not bad. I mean, it was really good, but given all the things, like I'm like, this is actually like okay. And then it's smooth, but it does have like a little hint of sweet, which was like a really nice like aftertaste. So I was really impressed.
Thank you.
I can only imagine like if you actually have like ice or a nice glass, or like the whole thing is set up like how you're supposed to experience it.
It's pretty good.
It's awesome. Do you think the festivals are good? Because I feel like you cross like a lot of people, you get in a lot of hands, face-to-face stuff.
Yeah.
You guys like doing them?
Yeah, we like doing it. We like meeting everybody. We like seeing the reaction, because that's how we learn and grow too. So if people aren't liking something, we want to hear about that, because we want to make it the best product we possibly can. And we want to make it as affordable as we can. That's our goal. So hearing what people have to say about what we're doing, and, you know, how we're pricing things, where we're at, where they go to drink, that's really important for us to hear. And so the festivals are a really great opportunity for us to just meet a ton of people at one time.
Yeah. I was starting to ask Willis questions. I'm like, wait, your Red Rocks this? And he's like, yeah. And he's like multitasking. And I'm like, of course, going into like podcast mode. And it's like, girl, keep it moving. Like, we got a whole line here. But I was fascinated right away. And like I said, the flavor, I'm like, oh my God, this is like warm vodka. And like, we're here for this. Yeah.
It's so funny, because most people will taste it, because sometimes, you know, vodka gets a bad rap. Sometimes like you maybe drank a ton of it in high school or college or whatever. And like, you just like drink not great vodka and you just have bad memories. But so we kind of sometimes have to be like, just try it. Come on and just try it. And they'll take a drink and they're like, this is actually good. Like, we get that a lot. Actually, it's good.
Yeah. I know. So I was saying, I'm like, no, not say it's bad, but like, you just think like even warm tequila, whatever you drink in like, you know, warm in a plastic cup, it's kind of like, you'll know a little bit, but I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. This is pretty good. I think tequila has a worse rap, like for high school-ish, if you're that
maybe it does.
gangster, but they're like, oh no, I can't even smell tequila. I'm like, when did you drink it? I'm like, well, back in 94.
Right, exactly.
I was in whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think they have a worse rap for what it is, but no, I think it's actually like really good. Do you guys have a tasting room or anything where you can go and...
We don't.
Okay.
No, but on our website, redrockspirits.com again, you can hit on events, and we have all of our tastings listed, where you can go and try it and taste it.
That's so awesome. Are you guys do you have any upcoming events you want to share we can find you guys at? Festivals or... Every
weekend we have a tasting somewhere.
Oh, okay.
We're doing something somewhere.
Is it usually at restaurants?
We just did a restaurant tasting last night, but usually it's at liquor stores around town.
Okay.
And we have... I don't even know if it's open to the public, though, so maybe I won't say. I don't know.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Well, do you guys post the calendar on the site or anything?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. It's on the website.
Okay. Their social media is really good. So if you do a great job.
Thank you so much.
You're on it a ton. And like, if I post something, you're reposting it. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how hard it is. So if anybody like needs, like, if I'm like, okay, this is cool, like, I'll just repost it, because like, I know, like, I'm in there with you, like, working hard
there you go.
to make this happen. So yeah.
Well, a message to the companies, everybody gets so stringent on their social media of like, it's got to be super clean and brand aligned and the colors have to fit and this and that. Again, I'm going to go rogue out here. No, just be authentic. Let it be out there. If someone's saying something and there's a few companies that they talk about or whatever, just put it out there. Like, let it be seen that people are engaged with your brand, that it's real, and, you know, they're out here hustling. Like, I think people overthink the social media thing.
I do too. I used to, until I realized, like, I would spend, you know, hours on this really awesome reel, and I'm like, oh man, this is the one that's gonna go viral. Yeah. This is it. And it gets like a few likes. And I'm like, what the heck? And then one that I just kind of threw up there, like everybody loves, and I'm like, I don't know. So I'm just gonna be me and put it up and, you know, see what happens, and that's all I can do.
There you go. Well, perfect kind of circular event. I always say to my companies, I'm like, I think our young people are going to get over this overexposure. I think all of it's going to become like taboo. And just like your daughter being like, no, thank you. Like, they're so much wiser. Well, I do too. So if you're out there, get your brand, you're in real life, word of mouth humans, like, to actually be brand ambassadors. Because if that goes away, when it does, I'm predicting it, you'll have your people, like your real community, reverberating the love for your cause.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So give it to them one more time. Where do we find you? Any social media tags? Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, so our website is redrocksspirits.com, and we are at Red Rocks Spirits on social.
Love it. I can't believe you guys got that. That wasn't taken.
I know.
Everything's taken.
I know. I thought we'd have to be like Red Rock Spirits 456.
Yeah, seriously, the worst. Last question I ask everyone that comes on, because I know the hustle's real and we're out here doing many things, but we're old enough to know it's not all about the dollar. What is success to you?
Ooh, success to me is being able to put food on the table, because I have 3 kids, so that's a big concern for me. But also being able to enjoy my family, enjoy my life, and really feel like I can rest in my love and care for them.
I love
That's
it.
success for me, I think.
Amen. Is there, besides you going to the bar and requesting Red Rocks Vodka, is there anything else the community at large can do intentionally and specifically to support you guys?
Just spreading the word. That's kind of the stage you're in. Like, if you could post a picture for us, if you buy it, happen to see it somewhere, post a picture, that would really help out a lot. Like, just anything we can do to get the word out right now will really, really help us. And it's like, when you're dealing with such a small company, like, it will directly help me and my family.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's kind of cool. Like, if you're wanting to help, that's just the best way, just to spread the word for us.
There you go. Shop local, shop woman owned.
Yeah.
Colorado, let's show up for our family out here.
That'd be great.
Ashley, we're wishing you luck. We're going to be
Thank you so
fans.
much.
I'm excited to do some stuff with you guys down the road.
Yeah, me too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're getting the Colorado community together on a couple levels.
Cool.
But I appreciate you guys coming out, and I wish you luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Tune in next time, and don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.